hit new heights. Start with forward motion.
With all this technology, it's easier to, let's call it, not learn the fundamentals because you've got all this information at your fingertips. What would you suggest then if you're Gen Z? Do you really have to put the work in, start off at the bottom level and put your time in to grow the corporate ladder? Or
So I have mentored for the last 8 years a young man whose father was in prison until recently for opioid dealing. I visited the father in prison. You know what the program is because you've been involved in helping those folks. He's a wonderful young man, tall, good looking, been shot on 2 different occasions, a total of 3 bullets. And, life is still in the balance for him as to how he might turn out. And he's very good at sports, and he cares deeply about sports. But I said, pretend you're at a White House state dinner. I've been to a couple of those. You're seated in round tables. Your spouse is at another table. And you're seated there between a famous United States senator and a famous author. What the hell are you going to talk about? Because they've never heard of LeBron James or Dwayne Wade. And so that's not going to be an avenue for you. What are you going to talk about? And, I've never wanted any of my 5 children to be too good looking, too good with people, too charismatic, and to some degree too smart. Because then people will try to get by on that great gift that God gave them. And so I've seen it time and time again. Somebody who's stunningly good with other human beings, very, very popular. All of us go to school, and they're the popular kids in school. And I don't think you can do what you want to do in this world and simply on the basis of being popular. And most of us, almost all of us, are not Einstein. And most of us are not people who are instinctively going to be loved and admired. You need to work at it. And I want people who understand that you better be doing something that you really love, that you think would make a difference not only in your life, but in other people's lives. I want you to be able to work harder than the people seated at either side of you.
Right.
I want you to read regularly. I read basically 2 books a week, mostly history and biographies. I do a history book group in my home for about 25 people who will be there Sunday, as a matter of fact. I want them to understand the lessons of history. I want them to understand, for instance, that Hitler came to power legally. It wasn't the stormtroopers who brought him in.
Right.
And the business community said, well, we can control this guy. He's better than the communists. And then later on, 60 million people are dead in the world. I've been in 56 countries, including places like Bangladesh and Democratic Republic of Congo. When I go to another country, I'll read several books about politics, geography, the great literature. I want to be able to ask good questions. And this university is important and people are going to learn great skills, but I also want people to be lifelong learners.
Yeah.
And if they succeed, they're going to succeed fundamentally on a willingness to be energetically purposeful, and they're going to succeed on the basis they know how to build relationships with other human beings. And they're going to understand that you got to have the big picture and the vision, but you darn sure need to spell somebody's name right, because if you can't spell somebody's name right, this is my journalism training, if you can't spell somebody's name right, then do I really care about you at all?